Welcome to the channel, friends. So today's video is going to be another Corvette related video, and what I have here is the PRW roller tip rocker arms. Now I'm going to do a quick review and my initial thoughts on this set of rocker arms and kind of what are the pros and cons in a way of having a roller tip rocker set like this. As you can see here, I have my supercharger and the lid off the vehicle. I just sent out the heads to K-Tech to have them CNC ported and valve job done. I installed new bronze guides. I have a video on that. So I have a lot of stuff being done in the Corvette right now. I'm doing all the work myself, and then I'll have it tuned in the spring when everything is done. So I'm doing heads, cam, and smaller pulley, and the car pretty much has all the bolt-ons and everything you can do. So on the supercharger, I will be doing a max effort for the 2.3 liter Eaton root style supercharger. I'm going to be porting out the hell out of it as much as I can, so that way I can get as much airflow as possible. In the lid, I will be running the factory LS9 lid, but with the Kong airfoil and divider, which are nice because it adds velocity to the air and smooths out the actual airflow through the lid. But anyways, that's just some quick kind of updates on what I'm doing. The heads are probably going to come back in another week or so, and then I'll get on that and get everything installed in the car. But right now we're going to go over in depth what I think about these rocker arms here. Now I bought them because I kind of got them for a good price, and I just wanted to see what they look like in person and what the quality is, because rocker arms, they vary in price, they honestly do. And when it comes to roller tip rocker arms, they're more suited for the bigger cams, and they just allow you to function that operation better versus a stock type rocker arm, which does not have a roller tip on it. It just pretty much, eliminates a lot of drag in the system, in the valve train, and it helps out in not basically wearing out your guides. Especially if you have bronze guides, this is a good idea. You want roller tips. Alright, so let's go over to the workbench and I'll show you guys the rocker set up close, and I'll start discussing my thoughts and my initial impressions on this particular model here. And let's give it one shot of the label here. This is the part number I'm working with. This is your offset style rocker for an offset intake on the LS9s, LS3 type heads. So as you can see there, that's what it fits. This is a stock ratio, and that's the part number I'm going to be talking about today. So let's go ahead over to the workbench where it's better lit, and I'll show you what they look like up close. Alright, so here we have is the PRW Performance Quotient series of rocker arms, which are their upgraded level or their higher level when it comes to their rocker arms. I guess they make aluminum ones as well. But these are the stainless steel bodied versions, which are going to be stronger when it comes to less deflection and just overall reliability, because there's a lot of issues when it comes to aluminum bodied rocker arms, because they end up snapping. Okay, they just break at the trunnion here, or they'll break off where the push rod cup is, and they just fatigue over time, and it's something that I don't want to deal with. Okay, I want something that's going to last, and that means I have to go with steel body whatever I use. So as we open this up, they give you a little sheet with instructions, kind of details, an inspection certificate. So that's all nice and good, but I got these because I got them for a really good price. That's the only reason, and I just wanted to see what they look like and what they feel like and what the quality is when I hold them in my hand, because you can't tell this stuff when you're looking at stuff online. And for 300 bucks normally, that's not bad, a set of rocker arms like this with a roller tip. But I got these for like 240 or something, 243. So I decided, okay, let me just try these things out, and if I don't like them, I'll just return them. So my initial thoughts is that they are Chinese made. Okay, that's I'm gonna be honest here. You're gonna get what you pay for here. They are somewhat decent, but they are heavy. Okay, they are a lot heavier than stock. I'm gonna get a scale in just a few moments and show you what they weigh compared to a stock rocker arm on an LS. So at first glance, they look, of high quality. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I went through all of these. They're all packaged up in this like plastic wrap. Now these are, a 1.7 ratio. They have a larger trunnion for sure compared to a stock LS. And this whole area here is enlarged and kind of reinforced, which is nice because this is a really robust rocker arm. It feels it when you lift it up, when you pick it up, I should say, because looks like it has a really decent build on it. It's got oiling channels in here for the bearings, if you can see that. There's a little cutaway, a little slot there. But the roller tips, the finish on the roller tip seems like it's a ground finish, and it's a nice finish. It's nothing like, bad about it, or any voids or blemishes or flaws or defects in that. The pin is staked on. It's just basically pressed on, and both ends are mushroomed over to keep the roller tip in place. Now, at first glance, like I said, they look like they're pretty decent quality, right? And then as I'm going through them, so I have these are the exhaust rockers. If you don't know, they have this straight design. And on the LS3 style heads, LS9, the intake is offset. So you have these that are offset, okay? Now, these weigh more, just because of that reason, them being offset like that and having that extra metal on the design of the actual frame of the body here. So these are naturally going to weigh more, and we'll get into that when I bring out the scale. But as I'm going down, I'm checking each one because I want to make sure these things operate. Since they're, cheap rocker arms, I want to make sure that they operate freely and they roll and they pivot, they swing around without anything grinding or binding. And I went all the way through the rocker arm set, and when I got to the very last one here, this intake rocker arm, can you hear that? Well, it sounds like it's kind of rough, and it's clicking. So something is going on there. And also the roller tip, it is bound up. So when you go to spin this thing, back, so if I'm spinning it counterclockwise right now, it won't go. No matter what I do, it will not go. It's binding up positively. It's not moving. If I go clockwise, it will spin. As you can see right there. It just bound up a little bit right there, and then it's catching. It's catching again. And now it's really catching, and I cannot almost spin it anymore right now in my fingers. So this was really bad when I first picked it up and tried it, because it bound up right away. It would not spin. As I work this more and more, it starts loosening up a little bit more, and I wonder if it's just like debris or grinding dust in there from the manufacturing of the rocker arm. But they should have cleaned these before they sent it to the customer. So the thing is, if you go clockwise, this thing spins, and it kind of drags a little bit. But if you go counterclockwise, it stops right there. It just binds right up. So that's a problem. That right there kind of turned me off to the whole set. I'm scared now to use this set, because what's going on here? Is it a poor finish on the inside of the actual roller tip? Is the actual pin that it rides on, the shaft that it rides on, all gouged up somehow? I don't even know what, because I really don't want to take this apart, because I might end up returning these. So I wanted to do a review and kind of show you guys kind of the quality on these before you go ahead and buy them, because I couldn't find a lot of videos on this set, particularly the Performance Quotient series and the stainless steel body ones. Now, there's all sorts of roller rockers out there. There's the Texas Speed ones that I looked at, but the problem is they're not a stock ratio. I need to have a 1.70 for my cam. My cam is already big enough. It's a stage 4 cam. I don't need 1.72, which is going to increase the my lift on my cam. So I don't want that. I want a stock ratio. Now you're stuck with either finding other steel body ones like the Texas Speed rocker arms, or you can get like Yellow Terra. But Yellow Terra, honestly, they're a really high quality made and looking rocker arm. Their shaft rocker is kind of not a full shaft rocker because they're not all tied together. So the thing that turns me off about the Yellow Terra rockers is the aluminum body. Even if you get the Ultralight Pros, which are the thicker body, the more robust body, it's still aluminum. It's going to fatigue after a while, and they're going to end up cracking and fatiguing and fracturing and deflecting. So like I said, I don't want to deal with anything aluminum because eventually they're going to fatigue. It's just the nature of the material. They can't handle the added load. Even though the Yellow Terra site says for the Ultralight Pros that it's rated to 480 pounds of spring pressure, I don't believe it because there's all sorts of pictures and stuff online of them breaking and fracturing in the same spot. It's either the trunnion or the pushrod cup where it installs into the body. So, if you want to take a chance and try them out and, see what happens, but I just seen enough when it comes to aluminum body that I don't want to deal with them because this is going to be a high horsepower build that I'm doing. It's going to be minimum 850 to the wheel, if not closer to 1,000. I need something that's steel and it's not going to deflect because I want to put some serious push rods in there. I want to get some Manton rods. I want everything to be top of the line and not to have any issues. So, I should have never really bought these to begin with, but I was just kind of really curious to what they are and what they look like and what they would present as. And I kind of figured for the price that I paid for them, what I'm going to get. I'm going to get poor quality control and stuff like this, like the roller tip binding up, that's not the end of the world if it binds up, while it's operating. Eventually it'll work its way loose and, it'll wear in and kind of burnish in and then remove that binding spot. But I shouldn't have to deal with this with a brand new product. This should already been addressed, especially since they have an inspection certificate. What did they inspect? I want to know what they inspected. Only 2 out of the 16? 1 out of the 16? Or 8 out of the 16 or whatever? So if this was inspected, this here should have not been in the case. Okay? It's too bad because these are pretty decent. If you're on a budget, these are great, I think. But I might go with the CompCam's BSR shaft system, which has the stock rockers essentially tied into a one piece of mount, one piece of shaft. So that aids in high RPM stability. It also has bushings that are going to have less deflection versus caged bearings like this. These are, the bearings in here are like an upgrade compared to stock because they're machined caged bearings. So they're high quality, like higher loading bearings, but like I said, there's other issues going on here that I'm not too happy with. So most likely I will not run these on my LS9, so my search for rocker arms is still going to continue, I think. I don't want to spend big money on a Jessel or TNDs because the problem is the LS9 valve covers are not tall. So you're stuck with certain rocker arms because you can't just put big, tall valve covers on the LS9 because there's all sorts of other stuff in the way sitting on top of the valve covers and you have very limited room to even raise the stock ones. So you're stuck with like something like this, that doesn't have an adjustable nut on here for the push rod and things like that for adjustment. Because if you get the adjustments on there, they add a lot of height to the back end. And then when they pivot, they need a lot of room to operate. So you have to have tall valve covers. And I just don't have that convenience. All right, so one other thing I want to show you is the PRW rocker mount. So this is a rocker mount for these, and it's essentially styled and designed just like the stock counterpart. So it looks exactly like the stock one, but it's made out of a billet aluminum, and it has this nice coating on it, it looks really nice. I'll have to say that. But I got these because I was thinking I'm going to use these rocker arms, and this seat is better off for the PRW rocker arms versus the stock one. The stock one is just a cast aluminum, and I've heard stories and reviews where this radius here doesn't match up correctly with the radius of the trunnion, the shaft. So when you bolt down, say you took the stock one, right, and then you bolt down one of these, it could essentially crack this because the radius, this contour, the profile is not the same to match what's on the PRW. So there's reviews out there of that where you go to bolt this down and it could possibly crack that. It seems like it clears the factory pedestal mount, but that's why I went ahead and bought this, just because these are made to work with PRW rocker arms, and it's something you should consider if you go this route. So, I mean, this is really nice quality. I really like the way this looks. I might still run this if it's compatible with what I get for rocker arms, because this is just much nicer. It's all dimensionally the same as the stock pedestal rail. I really can't find any differences besides the surface finish being better, and most likely this is going to be stronger because it's made out of a billet aluminum instead of a cast piece like this. So I'm really impressed with the pedestal mount. I really like the way it looks, and it looks like it's going to be a good performer so far. All right, so let's go ahead really quick before I put them on the scale and see if we can blow out any debris out of this and free this up. No, it's still bound up. It was going pretty good for a while there. It still drags. Going clockwise right now. Clockwise seems like it's a better direction. It keeps on spinning clockwise. Let's go counterclockwise. Counterclockwise, we're going. Oh, and it stopped right there. Wow, that's just so weird. I mean, it's spinning. I mean, it's spinning counterclockwise until it comes in contact with something and it stops. There's got to be a bad finish on the ID of either the roller tip or the OD of that shaft that's catching just at the right moment as you stop, because it doesn't make any sense. Now, these are only going to rock back and forth a little bit, obviously. They're not going to be spinning at high speed, but you get the idea. You know, if the thing binds up in your hands, eventually it's going to bind up in your motor, and then that's going to cause all sorts of problems. It's not going to pivot like it should be and have that full range of motion that it's designed to have. So, I don't know what the hell's going on here. It's still catching. Now, I wonder if I did it and I gave it an oil bath, you know, in an ultrasonic cleaner, what would come out. But I'm not going to go to that extent right now because, like I said, these are brand new and I should not have to do that. But like you see here, it's spinning right now and then it just stopped. It won't go any further. I gave it a try to see if it would break loose, but no cigar. So let's go on to now measuring them on the scale. I'll put these aside and let's whip out the scale. Let me get a stock rocker. All right, so we're going to do the total weight, and then we're going to do the tip weight, which is the most important thing when it comes to the rocker and how it's going to affect your valve train. So stock exhaust rocker. Let's turn this thing on. Okay. All right, so stock exhaust rocker arm without the bolt is 141.1 grams. I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera. Now the intake rocker arm, just the body, 144.5. So 140 and 144 for the stock rocker arm weights. Now, same thing with the PRW, performance quotient, stainless steel body. We have 191.5. That's quite a bit of difference there of an increase. 191.5, and now the intake rocker arm, 194.9, so 195. It's okay. 195 grams. That's what we're dealing with here. So there's another video of the Pro Comps, what is it, the Pro Magnums or the Magnum HDs or whatever they're called. The Pro Magnums, they weigh 204 grams. And I think the Pro Comp Ultra Gold's aluminum body rocker arm is 175 grams. So that's how they compare to other ones. I will try to link that video up above. That's a good video because a lot of rocker arm videos and people doing reviews, they don't have the weight of the rocker arm or the tip weight for that matter. That's the most important thing. So now let's go on to the tip weight of each one of these. So we'll start off again. Turn this back on. So in the same order, we have the exhaust. I will just place this on kind of as close to center as possible. So the exhaust rocker arm, the stock LS rocker arm, is 7.7 grams. 7.5. It's kind of wavering in between 7.5 and 7.7 grams. The stock intake rocker arm, 7.2 grams. So this is as lightweight as you can be right here. This is the stock rocker arms. Now moving on to the PRW. This is the exhaust rocker arm with a roller tip. We have 22.3. It's triple the weight of the stock exhaust rocker arm when it comes to tip weight. Let's do the same thing. Let's not do the one that's bound up. Let's do one that operates freely. And we have 21.9, we'll call it. 22.0. So that's what the PRWs weigh. They pretty much weigh 3 times the tip weight of a stock rocker arm. All right, guys, so this is going to wrap up my initial thoughts review. And for me, these are not going to work. Like I said, if I was lucky and I got an actual batch that did not bind up, then I probably would run these. But since that happened, I am not going to chance it. And I'm kind of stuck in a predicament where for the LS9, you're very limited, like I said, for valve covers. You have to run the stock valve covers, and you can't get anything that's tall and has adjusters. So most pedestal type, like shaft rockers with the adjusters on them, require taller valve covers, and I cannot run that. So that rules out comp cams, the Jessels, and a whole bunch of other ones that are high quality, kind of, upper end shaft rocker systems. I'm kind of stuck with either the T&D Machine drop-in ones, the bolt-on ones with adjusters for $1,600, or like the Yellowterra Ultralight Pros that I really do not want to get because they have an aluminum body and they will fatigue and crack over time. Or I go with something else. I don't know. The CompCam's BSR shaft rocker system that has a factory style rocker arm that's attached to a shaft, so they're all tied in together. Those have been rated, I guess, according to the videos on YouTube, to 675 lift, according to them, I guess. But they're more stable because of the shaft that ties them all together, and they're better off in that kind of fashion. So they allow you to run higher lift because of that stability and the tighter bushings, I guess, that they use. But that's going to be it for the review. If you have any questions or comments, obviously, please place them down below. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, guys. It really helps out. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.